Oh my goodness. We got this. Okay.
Ooh.
So we tried our first little fancy intro thing here. I love it. You're welcome in to the EJC NFL pod. My name is Eric. You can see my Twitter stuff right there on the bottom of my face. His name over there, that's Cam. You can see his Twitter thing. Jason decided not to do his Twitter at all, and that's fine. But what's
I
up,
think
fellas?
it's
Why?
because I think it's because I'm using a phone and you guys are on a computer,
Yeah.
so it's not recognizing what I type in.
I was just
Okay.
like, man, he don't give
Whatever.
a F about nothing.
No,
Like,
I'm gonna fix it.
Hey,
chill.
I'm fixing to say this too. This is going to be an explicit pod. Y'all probably have all felt this before. I had a pretty crappy day at work, so I had a pretty shitty day at work. So we might be dropping some f bombs. I don't really give a fuck. So that's what we're going to be doing. But hey, man, y'all, we have an awesome episode for you. We're going to be covering the NFC North. We're going to be covering their free agency moves, who they're losing, who they potentially could gain, who they should gain, and maybe a little bit of draft in there as well. But other than that, fellas, can y'all tell me something? Why did it take us? Because the last episode we did was pre Super Bowl. Could y'all explain your laziness to me? That's what I want to hear.
I can take this one.
I built an entire store and wrote a record and recorded it. So fuck you.
Yo,
Shout out
tell
to the
them
Lowdown
about that
Dirties.
record, Jason. Oh God, nasty.
Yeah, I got to be back in 2 days to do my part. But it's been a fun ride, and I hope everybody will like it a lot.
That's what I'm talking about. Cam, what's your excuse?
Fuck. Usually I say, I play off of, Jason's living strong, and I usually say I'm living good. I'm fucking pissed. Not living great. I lost a beard. We didn't get White in Tennessee. I'm just mad. And I was like, my team wasn't in the Super Bowl. I fucking lost my prediction in the Super Bowl. So I just been pissed. I was like, man, let me just take a little bit of time off here. No,
a little sabbatical, if you will.
Yeah, I was thinking a sabbatical.
Okay. No, let's talk about that just real quick, man. What do y'all think about the Watt signing with Arizona?
I mean, I get it, I guess. I just watched that All or Nothing documentary on Prime. Shout out to those guys, sponsor us, with the Cardinals. And it was great. Their coaches and stuff. I mean, there's been changes, but like the way the Cardinals run their organization, it's good for Watt. It's not good for me. It's not good for Tennessee. So fuck them. But I mean, good on him.
I think you saw what happens when you force a bidding war like this. Certain teams aren't going to play that. Like Green Bay, I know it was talked about a lot. You just knew they weren't going to get in a bidding war with somebody. I don't see J-Rob in Tennessee as much as we would have loved to see him with Vrabel. I don't see J-Rob getting in a bidding war either. And I think that's really what it came down to is there was more than a handful of teams that really wanted him. But as everyone will find out as we start to go through this, it's a rough job. And
It is.
There are a lot of teams over that cap, and that cap is just coming down. So I love it for Arizona. They keep stealing Houston's lunch money, and it's
just bullies, man.
Yeah.
Straight up. Give it that. Yeah, man. No, I dig the signing. I'm down here in Arizona, so they're kind of they're not my team. I'm a Cowboys fan, unfortunately, but
which is worse.
Which shut up. But no, man. I like the signing for him. It just to me it seems a little strange. I thought he'd want to go to like a real contender, and maybe he thinks that in a couple years that Arizona might be a contender with Kyler Murray, Hopkins. It depends on what happens with oh my gosh, what's that? The outside linebacker they have, Whitehead, Hassan Reddick. That's what his name is.
Reddick,
yeah, man. So we'll see what happens with them. And but no, I definitely don't mind the signing at all. Man got paid. We'll say that at least. I mean, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. But
it just kind of shows that to me a little bit that whole impassioned speech at the end of the season with him. I want to win. Come on, man. I mean, the Cardinals were 7-9, 8-8, something like that.
Right. Well, and that's what I said. That's why I said the point about the bidding war is like I don't want to completely take that away from him and say he just went for the money. But I think that when you look at the teams that he would have been interested, playing for, and look at who those GMs are and look at the salary cap situations they're already in, I think that's why he landed where he landed. I hope he's not that guy. I would like to believe he's not that guy.
Yeah. No, I think we all, I mean, man, JJ Watt, I mean, to me, he's a Hall of Famer. Pretty easily.
I think he would be more of like not the salary guy. He'd be more like a Tom Brady type deal where he's like, let me go here and let me beef these guys up and get them going. Because I mean, what? I mean, I'm not saying he's Tom Brady caliber, motivator or whatever, but I mean, that's a big name to land. I mean, Watt's he should have a ring by now. That dude is amazing. So I mean, maybe it's maybe it's that whole mindset. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's there to prove himself or something like that. But anywho, so let's get it started, man. Let's talk about this NFC North. It's a rough division. So I had something written down before today, actually, which is wild. So I had it written down. They're the only division in the NFL that was over. All 4 teams were over the salary cap. So according to overthecap.com, the Bears are now $233,000 under the salary cap. So they just snuck by there. But man, this is a rough division. So Jason, do you want to go ahead and explain what we're going to do today here?
Yeah. So what we're doing today is we're basically going to highlight the top free agents. I don't want to go down to who's getting paid $100,000, but we're going to do the top free agents for each team and see if we can kind of figure out how these teams might fix their situation. And if you're fantasy guys like we are, it'll give you a little bit more insight as to, going through the draft in a month or so. Yeah, I guess it's March now, so in a month or so, going through the draft and just kind of knowing where guys are going to be and what's going to be around them. And honestly, I think at this time of year, one of the things we don't look at is what was the problem to begin with, and did they solve it? And I think we're going to open some eyes to that.
100%. Yes, Trent, you're absolutely right, man.
Trent.
JJ Watt is huge for Arizona. I think he brings a leadership quality that team on the defense has never had as far back as at least I could remember. Chandler Jones is a great defensive player. However, he's not the leader that JJ Watt is. So, no, Trent, I agree 100% with that for sure. Big for AZ. So, Jason, you are, I think, the man in charge of the dice over here, ain't you? So I guess the premise behind this, he's got it set up. So what's going to happen is all 3 of us, so one of us is going to get 2 teams to talk about. The other 2 are going to get 1 team to talk about. And just as Jason said, we're going to try and just really evaluate that cap situation, that free agent situation, see how we, in our own minds as the GMs, could improve that team. And then if y'all would like to, if you wouldn't like to, whatever you want to do, I'd like to throw some draft stuff in there as well. Maybe who they draft, maybe who they don't. What's up, Cam?
Real quick, I just want to throw it out there before we get started. I know we're putting this off, but this is all new to me. I'm not good with numbers and just getting back into football and stuff. So I will probably be asking the stupid questions that you don't want to ask your friends. So please, if there's anybody that's starting to learn this, send them over this way, because I'm probably going to fuck this up and I'm probably going to make an ass out of myself. And I'm going to rely on these 2 awesome guys to like bail me out. So send them our way. Fuck.
That's going to be that's the thing as well. Yeah, that's a very much insight. Well, who you got, Jason? Who's going first, my man?
So I just going to throw it in a random number generator. So I'm going to ask you both at the same time to blurt out a number between 1 and 20. Okay. All right. And on 3, 2, 1, go.
13.
Cam is closer. The number was 8.
So I get to defer to him, right?
I'm good with that, dude. So, whatever you want to talk about, my man.
You're getting the first one. That's okay, though.
All right.
Like we said, just go along. Just go along with it. If you need to know anything, I'm sure, just like anybody else tuning in, you got questions, throw them in the chat.
Absolutely.
Got you.
All right. Using my special iPhone box here.
I like it.
We're very fancy here. We're obviously sponsored by many companies here.
Prime.
Okay. First things first, Detroit.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a good one.
It's a good one.
All right. Let me look at my
A
notes
lot, of,
here.
a lot of meat on the bone in
So,
Detroit,
let me-
or maybe not so much meat on the bone, but however you want to look at it.
So let me set you up, Cam, and then we'll see
Yep.
what you think, okay?
All right.
All right. So talking about Detroit, all right,
Mhm.
$9 million under the cap. Last I checked, Eric, what do you see as the number?
They're $9 million over the cap.
Over the cap. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right. So there were $9 million over the cap. All right. So
Mhm.
we got to cut. Well, you know, offhand, we got to free some money up.
Yep.
Right.
Potentially losing Galladay and Jones. So you got no receivers.
Right.
Okay. Jamie Collins pretty much is doing it all by himself. They had a Gerard Davis pick in 2017 first round. Didn't work out. Jelani Tavai didn't work out. I hope I'm saying that right. Really poor drafting the linebackers. So they're just kind of they're stuck with Jamie Collins, but they got. Defensive line. Trey Flowers, Aguara, and David Harrison all hurt last year. Not good. Did you want to say something, Eric?
Yes, sir. And I was Trey and stole it from me, honest to God. So I had a couple things here. I had two players, two I would say quote unquote big money players, but you saved $6.2 million if you cut Desmond Trufant, who was actually ranked 120th out of 121 qualified corners by PFF. So not great, Bob, at all. And then you got $4.65 million if you cut Nicholas Williams, who was a defensive interior player, who I believe was, give me 2 seconds here, and I'll tell you, he wasn't super great for Detroit as well. So that's about what 10.8-ish, 10.9 million that you can free up. So that gets you a modicum, just a tiny bit over the cap. Or excuse me, under the cap, but
yeah.
There's
so
a couple more names out there too. There's a couple more names out there. You can get yourself out. You can get yourself under the cap at a decent rate. Jesse James is making $5.9 million. He'd save you. He'd save you $5.9 million. Justin Coleman would save you $8.95 million. These are not some big names that come with some decent price here.
Right. So the one that stood out to me when I was looking through all this stuff was definitely Justin Coleman, soaking up at $8.95 million, because that is, again, get back into it. I'm, a dynasty player, and when I look through people's rosters, Coleman is not a name I'm looking for. Coleman is never a name that was brought up. So that right there to me, boom, that's my first one. We're gonna knock out that $8.95 million right off the bat because that's stupid. The thing that worries me.
Can I cut you off real quick? He would save 4.9 mil.
4.9.
4.9. So his guaranteed or his base salary is 8.95. However, he does have a oh gosh, I lost it. Sorry, y'all. But anyways, yes, he would save as much as I just said a while ago on the cap.
Well, fuck. Okay.
About 5. So he stays about 5. So I mean, and he was not good last year either at all.
Right. Well, so because of that, I'm still cutting him. So that's going to give me my 4.9. And I'm horrible with numbers, so I'm going to try to keep up as I'm going. And I might do a little bit of rounding. I know that's not good, but
go for it.
I'm an idiot. So definitely, I'm cutting Coleman. So that's going to give me almost 5. Trufant, is that how you say his name? Yeah. So he's another one that's going to give me 6.2. So I'm definitely under that where I was. I mean, I'm like a mil. Yeah. Now my biggest worry, of course, is the wide receiver. Because Galladay, I don't know how much. If he does come back, how much he'd be, what the market value for him would be, how much he's going to want to soak up to stay there.
So, give me 2 seconds. I got y'all. Y'all go ahead.
With the record they have, and then playing with a quarterback that he's not really used to, it just makes you wonder, if he's got the belief that they're actually going to do something with the moves they've made this offseason so far. So if I'm potentially sitting with maybe a mil. Kerryon Johnson, I mean, he's only sitting at like 1.36 mil. But you got Swift, man. And Swift is going to be, unless he goes down with an injury, Swift is going to be your running back. He's set for success. If last year was anything to show that he's coming in this year, it's going to be phenomenal. So I would go as far, just let Johnson go too. So I got Swift. That's, I'm set there. So that gives me another mil or so to play around with. The wide receivers, I mean, hold on. I got my stuff pulled up over here, so bear with me on that too. If I am not mistaken,
I can tell you straight up off the bat, my man.
Where are the Lions drafting at?
They're 7. They're drafting at 7.
Okay, so obviously get a wide receiver, and the one I've seen pop up for them quite a few times, I agree with Jalen Waddle. Just go ahead and pick him up, put him on a rookie contract. And now, again, I'm not great with numbers, so I don't know how much. I know a rookie contract is like 650,000 minimum or something like that. So
depends on where they're taken. There's a lot of different factors. We won't get into all that, but
right, yeah, I don't
much less than I will say this. Kenny Golladay. So PFF has him projected, and they're pretty dang close at it.
Yeah,
his projected contract is 4 years at an average of $21.25 million a year. They're not going to be able to re-sign him.
No.
They also they're losing Marvin Jones, Danny Amendola, and Mohamed Sanu at wide receiver. So that's their 4 starting wide receivers right there.
Yeah.
So again, if I'm the GM, the way I'm looking at it is like, hey, I'm gonna turn it into a positive. I'm gonna have a bunch of young wide receivers to work with. And we're not gonna win it this year, fellas, but maybe in a few years we can.
Well, let's not forget. Okay, so all right. So Goff is still whether you like it or not. I like Goff.
I like
Goff. Still a serviceable quarterback. I mean, if you need him to game manage, you can do that.
Absolutely, yeah, he totally can do that. That's fine. I agree.
So mad.
But you have a good running game.
Goff fucking sucks, man. I'm just saying.
But last year he was your fantasy secret sleeper man.
I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong.
There's wrong again.
I'm going to commit. Look, I'm going to give this to myself. All right, here we go. That's to me. That's to me right there.
All right. Well, listen. So you got Goff and you've got T.J. Hawkinson. Okay.
Right.
So there's a receiver there. He just doesn't play wide receiver. Okay.
Right.
And you got a great running game, and you got guys who can catch the ball out of the backfield. So he said you're gonna go out and get Waddle or Waddell, however you say it.
Waddle.
Eric, check me on this. Jesse James, how much does he save you if you cut it?
Jesse James is, give me 2 seconds.
Because we have 5.9 mil.
He's saving you 2.1-ish.
2.1,
but he's also dead money of 4.3. So it's really a net loss.
Jesus. Fuck. All right.
Dude,
nothing for you.
I'll say this about Detroit, man, and Tran brings up a good point. Let me get this here. Quintez Cephas is he was his rookie season last year. He showed flashes. I do like Quintez Cephas over there. So you essentially have a receiving core of Hawkinson, like Jason had alluded to, and then Cephas as well. And then let's say they take Jalen Waddle, they take a Devontae Smith. To me, they have to take one of those top 3 wide receivers. If it was me, I would pray that Jamar Chase fell to me at 7 because I think he's the most talented one out of that group. But so 1.7, you could say 1.7 for who's it for Geronimo Allison? Okay, I'm good with that. That's no issues at all. But yeah, Jesse James really doesn't save you much money. So I was going to say this about Detroit if I got them. It's complete rebuild. You cut everyone that you can that saves you money. And what I do, if I'm at 7, I'm personally trying to trade back. I'm trying because they have so many holes to fill. If a Trey Lance, if for some god-awful reason Justin Fields or Zach Wilson falls to you at 7, you trade back and you pick up, another second round or maybe another third round or something like that. And you have to fill holes at this point because there isn't a worse team, in my opinion, that is – so Detroit is, what did we say, $9 million over the cap? And they're a terrible team, like a terrible, terrible team. Another team in the NFC North is maybe somebody we'll talk about here in a minute, but they might be in a worse situation. But, man, you have to blow that thing up. You got to.
Well, so that was my thing when I was doing the research on the different teams. This is the one team I was hoping and praying I didn't get because I was like, the only thing you can do is just, I mean, by the numbers, man. I mean, you just got to let people go and then hope and pray the best that you get maybe a couple good picks in the draft and then set yourself up to try to be the best you can this year and hopefully look to build in the future because, I mean, it's not looking great. I mean, they got Swift, which is to me is the standout of that team. But other than that, I mean, who are they really?
Well, their secret weapon is that they're going to be biting your kneecaps excessively, just continuously. If I remember the conversation correctly, I think it was both kneecaps at different times.
Biting all the kneecaps, man. Dan Campbell is bringing a freaking. So I'll say this though, their center Frank Ragnow. He was graded the third best center by PFF, so they have that going for them. Their guards are decent. Taylor Decker played 1,000 snaps last year. He was ranked 12th out of 79 as far as tackle goes. So they have a decent offensive line. So I think that's something to build on, like Cam was saying with DeAndre Swift. I just don't know. For me, as far as I'm taking from a fantasy perspective. I don't know how many scoring opportunities he's going to get with a meager, at best, receiving core like they have there. But, I mean, as far as fixing Detroit, to me, I already said it. You have to trade down, depending on who's there and stuff like that. So if we have the top 4 quarterbacks go in the top 6, then, yeah, you pick the best receiver that you can get because somebody's going to fall to you. And this is a good receiving class, a deep receiving class as well. So they can even double up and say, let me get a receiver in the first round. Let me get a receiver in the second round as well.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, Eric. That pretty much sums it up. My last thing on this, I mean, it all comes down to you just got to cut all the fat that you possibly can and just look to rebuild in the future. Stick it out with Swift. Hopefully Goff will come through and then maybe pick up one of these top 3 wide receivers coming off of the rookie draft and just cross your fingers, man, and get ready to take a punishment for the next couple of years. But hopefully you bring it back around and not be so fucking careless with your money.
I don't know how they got that situation, man. It's wild to think that they were that far, over the cap with a terrible team.
Well, it's like I mentioned when we talked about the linebackers. I mean, you have 2 starting linebackers who are probably, we're probably letting go now. One was a first-round pick in 2017. One was a second-round pick in 2019. You just miss them. That's how you end up in this position. It's
talent. Is it talent evaluation, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So Detroit do better. That's what I would say.
Yeah, get your shit together.
Who do we got up next, and who's up next? Is it me? It's me or you, my man?
It's gonna be me and you. All right. Okay. So I've got this here. I'm gonna hit the button. 1, 2, 3, go. 20.
13.
6.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Let's go capture it. Give me Chicago. I have so many notes for Chicago.
Dude, I had so many notes for Chicago too. It was like Chicago and Green Bay a little bit, but Chicago was the main one that I was putting it in.
DB, let's go, baby. Okay, cool. Give me 2 seconds here. So what I'd like to do, I want to hit an overview with the entire team there. So right now, it looks like they are about 11.5 million over the cap, which makes sense for a team who's trying to win now. And we neglected to say this earlier. However, this is going to be one of the craziest off seasons that we see super talented players get cut because of the COVID situation, because of the salary cap, because it typically goes up and up and up. It just keeps continuing to go up. Not this year. Not this year at all. So we're going to see a bevy of really good talent released out there. They actually already did that with, oh my goodness, I can't think of his name right now. A really good offensive lineman who I had written down for the NFC North preview. But anyways, a notable free agents right here. We got to say, because we're fantasy folks, Aaron Jones is an unrestricted free agent. Jamal Williams, free agent. Robert Tonyan, he's a restricted free agent, so that means Green Bay can match an offer for him, and that automatically means Green Bay gets him back. You have your right tackle, Jared Veldheer, however the hell you say his name.
Were you referring to Lane Taylor earlier?
It may have been. I'd have to look it up, man. You got Corey Lindsley, who was actually really, he was ranked the number one center, by PFF this past year. So you had to sign that guy back. That's just in my opinion. But as far as a few players, I think that they're going to cut. Zadarius Smith, to me, looks like an easy cut. You're saving $12 million off the cap like that.
And what did you show as the cap overage?
It was about 11.5 mil.
Okay, our numbers match there.
Okay, cool.
I'm not sure what happened with Detroit, but our numbers are matched.
That's okay. No worries. So we got about 11.5 mil we saved with Zadarius Smith. I'm sorry, 12 mil we saved with Zadarius Smith. So that puts us about, 500,000 over. You think of players like, to me, I'm MVS. Sorry, dude, you had your chance. You're out of here. You're saving about 2.2 mil with him. And obviously Aaron Jones that's going to free up a decent amount of money. I don't think personally they're going to sign him back. That's why they drafted A.J. Dillon in the second round in 2020. So they're going to continue forward with that. But I think they're one of those teams that doesn't really need to add a lot of pieces. 100% honest, right? Are you? So you made that face, Jason. What do you think?
What if I told you there's not a single receiver signed past 2021?
Devontae Adams is only signed past that?
They need to extend him immediately. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. So
I didn't know that.
So there's going to be.
I didn't know that until Jason had mentioned, and it floored me, man. It floored me because why wouldn't you? Yeah. Why wouldn't you lock these guys? Well, I mean, obviously you're over your cap, but I mean that's wild.
So there's different ways, and we neglected to say this earlier as well, but there's different ways that the teams can move monies around and push this into into future contracts or like signing bonuses or whatever. And I think that's something that Green Bay is going to do. They've well, not last year at least. That was a terrible draft, but they found themselves. Obviously, you don't get this successful by not being a team that drafts decently. Put it that way.
Yeah.
All across the offensive line, they have studs. So as far as players they need to sign, I'm not sure, man. I'm really not sure. I think what Green Bay should do personally is just build through the draft. They have that 29th pick. They're losing Kevin King, who was not super great during that old Tampa Bay game in the NFC Championship. But attack that secondary again. Jair Alexander was the number one ranked corner by PFF last year, and if y'all saw him play, which I know y'all probably did see him play, man, he's a lockdown guy. And he's a young guy too. He's very, very good. But
he's also very alone.
Fair enough. But man, I think to me, if I'm the GM, I'm letting Aaron Jones walk. See you later. I'm not paying a running back. Get out of here with that trash. I'm not paying you $15 million a year.
Right.
My problem with I'm looking at it right here, man. Devontae Adams next year is going to be 29 years old. I'm not sure I really want to give him another contract. 100%. So to me, if I'm at 29, and because it's such a deep receiver class, I'm looking at one of these receivers real hard at the end of the first round. What do y'all think? What do you think, Cam, as far as Green Bay?
Well, I don't know, man. So I got a bias for Adams. So there's that. But I mean, he's in his prime. I mean, he's looking good. Would I give him another contract? I doubt it. But I mean, they're already over their cap, man, and if they got no receivers signed after 2021, honestly, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, what? It's hope pray for the best, because obviously, if they keep the team that they got now, they're going to do good next year. So they're going to have a late spot in the draft again. So it's not like they're going to be able to grab somebody right off the top of the rookie list. So I don't know. That was they're in a rough spot. after this year.
And actually, like as we talk about it, I find it a lot. Like that's it's one of those teams that's like they're going to have to win now, or they're going to be hurting in 2 or 3 years. And I just saw it here, Damon Harrison, who I didn't see as a PFF grade or anything, but Snacks Harrison has been a stalwart, amazing run defender for many, many, many years in the league. He actually only played 168 snaps last year, so decent grade from PFF, but he didn't qualify to get graded, or to get ranked, I should say.
Well, how do we feel about Rashawn Gary?
Oh man, let's see what he did here. I'm curious what he did last year. So he came on like legitimately came on towards the end of the season. They actually have him ranked above average, 43rd of 108 edge rushers or edge defenders, we'll say, in the NFL for 2020. So to me, I mean, was this his rookie year or second year?
Second year.
Okay, so
yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. It was his second year.
Yep.
So hey man, keep him under contract, keep him under his rookie contract. I'm okay with it. That's why I think I'm okay with cutting Zadarius Smith. I think I'm okay with it. You keep Preston Smith around. You go ahead and cut Zadarius, his brother. Not really, but from another mother.
So let me ask you.
We have good safety play as well. Go ahead.
Let's toy with this idea. You talked about Preston Smith. How much does Preston Smith save you?
Preston Smith will save you. So it's a net. It's zero. So he's going to be a dead money hit of $8 million. But it'll save it'll $8 million. $8 million.
He saves $8 million. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So let's just run this real quick.
Yeah. You're right.
So we already talked about Preston Smith saving us $8 million. Okay. We were 11.4 over cap. We know we're not going to have Aaron Jones. So Aaron Jones is probably going to give us some money to play with as well.
Yeah.
I wish we had a number on that.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll find it.
And the one thing I want to highlight while you're looking for that is it's not just about Aaron Jones. Jamal Williams is also going to be a free agent. So you have to sign him. Okay. If you got to keep somebody around, if you're not going to keep somebody around, you need to draft somebody. I'm not really sure who's below A.J. Dillon on the depth chart. But what I would say is you're losing Alan Lazard as well. And we talked about MVS earlier. We said, let's cut him. Yeah. I mean, look, out of all the players out here that you can make a serious run for, I'm thinking Will Fuller or Corey Davis. If you can fit one of those guys in, because we already said we're gonna save some money. What did Aaron Jones end up being?
So he was his projected contract 4 years, $13 million a year, and he's 26 years old. I'm not messing with that at all.
No, not especially when you can get a guy. Both those guys, Corey Davis and Will Fuller.
You said Corey Davis and Will Fuller. So Will Fuller projected contract 5 years, 17.5 average. Okay. Corey Davis 4 years, 16.25 million.
I knew they wouldn't be too dissimilar. Corey Davis. People haven't woke up to that train yet.
They have not.
I feel like you got to get one of those guys, because what did we just say? We said it's win now, right?
Yes, it is 100%.
It's hell or high water, right? Yep. So you got to get somebody. I wouldn't even be opposed to seeing what Deshaun Jackson's got left in him. You got to find somebody opposite. Go ahead.
You need some speed. That team needs speed. And I don't know what Deshaun Jackson. I'm not sure if he's on this thing, but yes, I agreed. Kadarius Toney would be a real nice fit there in Green Bay. Trend like that would be really. That guy is a athletic freak. I'll take a look here and see. But no, I agree with you, Jason. I think Green Bay needs speed. They need somebody opposite of Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Because I think Adams still had a game in the NFC Championship. But like when you only have one guy, you can mitigate that. I mean, what did Calvin Johnson ever win anything? No, but he was fucking awesome, right?
Amazing.
So at the end of the day, you have to have at least two threats. And Jason, I'm right there in your mindset, dude. I think that if we could find a way to get that much under the cap, and maybe because this is something I'm stealing this from. I think I can't remember what podcast said this, but I'm stealing it. So this is not my original thought, but it's an awesome thought. Like there's going to be a lot of players out there that we see these projected contracts or whatever. There's going to be a lot of players that take a 1-year prove it deal because they want to prove when the salary cap goes up that they deserve a massive contract. So I could see that happen, especially somebody who played in mediocrity like Will Fuller, for instance. I could see him saying, "Hey, man," or freaking Curtis Samuel. That's a big one too. He's got speed for days. I don't think he's a deep threat. I think he's way better used underneath and gadget type stuff. However, I definitely like a little more speed on that roster on the offensive side of the ball for sure.
Absolutely.
Let's get our next team. So
Green Bay's like
go ahead,
the only team. The Green Bay's like the only team that really got a shot out of these four. So if I was a GM, I would just beg and plead with everybody, be like, "Look, we're gonna stay over the cap. Go ahead, charge us that $5 million. We're gonna make it up in the Super Bowl next year. Fucking just let me take it."
I mean, and every team is oh shit, I lost my thing. Every team is supposed to be, under the cap, like when the season starts. If you're not under, from my understanding, you get like draft pick fines and stuff like that. But meh.
Right. So that's the thing. Okay, so just for anybody that doesn't know, I don't know. So it's like first day of the season is when your cap has to be settled, right? Like it's got to be.
Yes. It has to be at least zero.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Now, do you want to go back to you two, or you guys just want me to take one?
It's you, dude. It's your turn now, motherfucker.
I'm excited.
If you get freaking,
I hope I get the one I want.
I know you're going to. I know it.
He's just like that.
Yes.
He freaking stole it. Who is it? I can't see it.
Where's it at?
Is it Minnesota?
I have to prove.
Does that say Payne?
I hope Josh Jarrett's watching this right now.
Minnesota.
Yes. This is the one I wanted because I sure as hell didn't want Chicago. Okay. So, Eric, just to double check, just because that kind of freaked me out earlier, what do you see the Vikings South cap over or under?
So the cap right now is about 9.5 mil over.
Over. Okay. All right. So, look, I'm just going to start by identifying where I think we need to do work. Okay. So, left tackle. First things first, you're probably not going to be able to afford Riley Reef. And he had his best season as a Viking, so it's really it just sucks. It just fucking sucks to be them. Sucks to be Kirk Cousins, but let's be honest about it. He also was sacked 107 times in the last 3 years that he's been a Viking. Like, he just gets eaten alive. So it's like
he's taking it on the back.
Riley Reef did good, but I also think they need to look at defensive line. They get Daniil Hunter back in 2021, so that's awesome. But they got to improve the position group. They were 29th ranked in defense. And, it all starts up front, starts between the trenches, right? So, maybe Daniil Hunter does it by himself, but I highly doubt that. Anthony Harris is a free agent, so you're already screwed there probably.
He's probably gone, man. He's probably gone.
Yeah, and Harrison Smith has a pretty penny on him. It would definitely be the definition of a cap casualty. But lastly, Eric Kendricks, he played out of his mind. They didn't have Anthony Barr. So hopefully, bringing him back helps there. But I still look at that linebacker core. I think you can tell, if you followed the Vikings since they got their current coach, they were machines at first. That defense was terrifying. I can remember a game. It was like a Monday Night Football game. Eli Manning literally didn't get to – there was some crazy stat like the fewest pass attempts of all time just because he was on his ass the entire time. It was one of the most amazing games of football I've ever had the pleasure of watching. Yeah. I don't know if you recall it. But
I don't know what you're talking about, but I could definitely see it with the Mike Zimmer defense and who you had back then? Brian Robinson, Everson Griffin, Neil Hunter, Like Lord, you had the Joseph was his name. Was it Limbaugh Joseph back in the day?
Limbaugh Joseph. Yeah, I mean Xavier Rose was competent back then, so they couldn't get the ball down the field. You know, it's just the Vikings are a team that I like to watch. You know, and I always, you know, since we started doing this pod, I am famously a quarterback fangirl, and I just whatever. But I love Kirk Cousins too. No surprise, but. Here's the deal, and I want you to check me on this because this is what I got on my numbers. So, if we let go of Kyle Rudolph, he saves us $5.1 million this year.
Take a look at that. What old Tran said.
Tran.
Yep.
Yeah. So we drafted a tight end out of Alabama. I can't remember his name, but he was what?
Irv Smith Jr.
Irv Smith Jr.
The fantasy community loves him, and I'm gonna break their heart right now. I don't think he's very good, but go ahead.
Sorry, fantasy community. That was I don't know what you guys were thinking, but
EJC pod pissing everybody off.
Fuck you.
That's what we do. Fuck them.
All right, so we're down to $4.4 million over cap. Riley Reef. Here's what we talked about. Is he should be worth $11.75 million? Am I correct, Eric?
Let me take a look here.
And for those of you that are wondering, that's a lot of fucking money.
At these things. Who are we talking about? Riley Reef, you said?
Yeah, Riley Reef should be worth $11.75 million.
Oh, shoot. So I don't know what I think he's a free agent, right?
Yeah.
So he didn't show up on my thing.
So we're not cutting him. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Harrison Smith, 10.25.
Oof.
I hate it.
Yes. 10.25, yeah.
Okay, so
that's a hard thing to do, though, man. And he is a zero dead cap thing too. I think you have to do it with this team. Yeah,
you have to.
Yeah,
and you got draft left tackle, so now you know what you're doing. Okay, so you got some direction there. So I hate it. But now Minnesota's going to go out and get some safeties. I don't know what that noise is.
Sorry, just for anybody that's watching
rally right now. He's at a biker rally right now.
Yeah, I'm at a drag strip. No, I'm actually outside in this lovely 40-degree weather, making this the dedication to make sure I get some kind of what I thought was going to be quiet background. And fucking I live in Memphis, dog. Everybody that's got a fucking Mustang is just they fucking cut them mufflers off and they just run with it. Sorry to all 3 of our fans watching.
Tran, who are you talking about? 11.75.
That's Riley Reef.
Oh, Riley Reef. Okay,
that was the Riley Reef stat, but it's like I said, we can't re-sign him. There's no way to do it. We only have $5 million now. Like we have like almost $6 million after cutting Rudolph and Smith.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and throw Dan Bailey in there too, because fuck him. Just fuck Dan Bailey.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
I know why you said that is because you spoke with the Cowboys. Is that why?
So yeah, because he played for the Cowboys. So we got about
fuck him and fuck you too, Eric.
So we got about $8 million to play with. Okay, so we got $8 million. All right, and we talked about it. We get Anthony Barr back. We got Eric Kendricks. We're gonna leave the linebacking core alone. We really can't. I don't think we can do anything with $8 million there. We have no safeties. Okay, we have no left tackle.
Mm.
If we're gonna get a left tackle, let's take a look here. Feel free to jump in. If we're gonna get a left tackle,
well, yeah, they're picking 14th overall, so they might be able to get a decent left tackle.
I like that spot.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put that away. Let's talk about.
And safety is a very deep class this year.
It is.
In the draft. I mean, you have people like Richie James that are predicted to fall to the late second or early third, maybe mid third round. And I think that Mike Zimmer's defense is kind of a primarily too high safety defense as well. So you want to look for 2 of those almost center field type guys. And it seems that the 2021 draft has, a bevy of those guys out there. So it might be worth it to look in the draft and to cut someone like Harrison Smith.
If you don't mind me throwing this in. Please. So one of the names I saw pop up for the Vikings on the defensive line was Kwity Paye. would possibly be their if they can get him in the rookie draft. I don't know a lot about dude, but like, is that something y'all agree with? Like,
I think that Mike Zimmer's defense is predicated off of having an amazing pass rush of four, like basically like Steve Spagnuolo, essentially. Like you can get pressure with four type thing. So Kwity Paye, from everything I understand, I'm not a big college guy, but from everything I understand, he's kind of a project. He's very athletic, similar to Daniil Hunter was when he came out of LSU. I think he came out of LSU, so y'all can
holler. Yeah, he did.
But yeah. So yeah, man, I that's fine. But like for me, if someone like a Christian Darrisaw or a Rashawn Slater drops to 14, I am jumping all over that. If I'm the Vikings, give me one of those offensive tackles for sure.
So basically, I freed up $8 million just now.
Right.
So we know we need 2 safeties, we need a left tackle. Here's what I'm thinking. I think you go after someone like a Daquan Jones or an Ndamukong Suh.
Okay.
Because, so Suh, a little bit older, but he went for $8 million last year. So you can get a guy like that with the $8 million we just saved, or you can get a guy like Daquan Jones who's been making a steady $7 million. You could probably bring him in for $8 million. I don't know. He might want a $10 million, a year deal. I haven't really seen what his representation is. I know he was amazing for Tennessee.
Daquan Jones about.
Cam, if you haven't figured it out yet, we lost everybody. Everyone jumped off the boat. So
yeah, it's real sad because who's up? Jayon Brown is about to leave too. Like he's that.
I sent that to Jason in the chat the other day. He got real upset about it.
It's very not fair.
Daquan
Jones. It's a sore subject, Eric. Have some goddamn respect.
Meal.
What did you say about Daquan?
He's looking at about 7.25 a meal projected. Suh is looking at about 6.75.
I'm going with Daquan Jones then. Let's sign Daquan Jones.
And Suh is not going to sign to a team like Minnesota. He's not going to go there where he doesn't think he's going to win a ring.
Right.
That's 100%. Whereas Daquan Jones, I'm not sure how old he is. He's about almost 30. He's 29. Yeah. So maybe the same for him, but I'm not sure how he got paid in Tennessee. So
I want to say his last year was $7 million.
Okay. So around about the same then.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sign Daquan Jones to kind of make sure, like I said earlier, that my linebackers, my Eric Kendricks and my Anthony Barr, we have something in front of us to work with. And again, we're getting Daniil Hunter back, so this is going to be a good pairing. It's going to be a really nice pairing. So I think that's the move, and I think you go into the draft knowing, hey, we got 2 needs: left tackle and safety. Let's go get it.
Yep. And I think it's a great draft as far as where they're picking at to get both of those in at least the first, I'd say day 1, day 2, because you can day 1 obviously is your round 1, day 2 is your round 2 and round 3. So man, I'm in 100% agreement there. So yeah, you freed up a little room there. All right. Hey man, I want to request something real quick. If it's okay with you, you're the game master here. I would love to get the Chicago Bears.
I was going to say let's all 3 tackle it. We've all been tackling it, but yeah, I'm gonna let you start.
Okay. So like I said, the news that I had was that they're about 2.9-ish over the cap. What I'm looking at overthecap.com says they're about $233,000 under the cap, which is not great anyways. But anyways, so you cut Jimmy Graham, you save $7 million. You cut Bobby Massey, he's a tackle, you save $5.4 million. So now we're looking at about, what's that? I guess close to 9-ish million, almost 10 million under the cap. So notable free agents. Allen Robinson, my man ain't coming back. He's just not coming back. The proof is in the pudding. Mitchell Trubisky, I don't even want to talk about him. Cordero Patterson, who was an amazing special teams player, kind of a jack of all trades guy. Yep. You got Mario Edwards, who was actually ranked 3rd out of 126 of defensive interiors, but he only played 278 snaps, 2nd highest graded defender on Chicago, but he did get suspended for PEDs. So that could be a lot of things there. So I'm not really looking to bring him back because I'm not sure how viable that production is. But team needs wide receiver, offensive line like a mug, quarterback, of course, and edge, which is kind of crazy. I'll explain that in a second. Wide receivers we all talked about. Allen Robinson is all but gone. He was tweeting out during the Super Bowl, I want to win a ring, right? He wants to play with a fucking competent quarterback for once in his goddamn life.
You can't blame the guy.
Why would you? Blake fucking Bortles and Mitchell Trubisky? Oh, disgusting. But I will say this, though. Darnell Mooney was super impressive as far as a rookie season goes, and as far as a kind of a tiny wide receiver goes. If you watch his highlight reels of him getting off the line of scrimmage, dude, it's a thing of wonder. Like it's beautiful. Let him add about 10 pounds or so. I'm telling you, I don't want to be hyperbolic here. He reminds me of Stephon Diggs. Honest to God. Like that's how good his route running is. And then you have
jump in real
go
quick.
ahead, man. Yeah,
talking about Mooney.
please.
I watched every Bears game I could this year. And from I think it was like week 3 or 4, I was just like, that guy is gonna be a star. Like he looks so good. He's so fun to watch, and he's so young that like he's got a glass ceiling, man. He's got a glass ceiling. Like as soon as you think he's hit it, he's gonna break through it. Like Mooney is the fucking man. Like I just want to throw that out there right now. Love it.
I love him. I really do. And then if freaking oh wow, this is a good point by Tran. So here's my problem with that though, Tran. I will address that. No, thank you. So cool. We'll address it. I'll address it from my point of view, and then Jason, if you want to throw something out there too. And I hate how Cam was just smoking cigarettes while I can't in my house. But anywho, Akeem Nicks, when he went down this year, that defense, like you could rush for 300 yards against them. That's how integral he is. However, I will say this for you, Tran. He's 31 or 32 years old. It might be about time to look at maybe seeing what you could get for him on the open market. I'm not sure. So I'm not sure what a 32-year-old tackle could really get. But, I mean, could you get a 4th-round pick for him? Because if you could, let's go. I'm good with that. And you're also saving $10 million in cap space like Tran said. So that's a really good point, Tran. I appreciate you bringing that up. Jason, did you have anything to add?
You're right on it. That's exactly what I was going to say. You got to trade him. You got to trade him and get that money. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Tran, for bringing that up. And then, so what I thought as far as the wide receiver position for Chicago goes, because you have Darnell Mooney, speed threat, someone who I think is going to take a little bit of time to develop, and I think he could potentially maybe be a number 1. But I think Curtis Samuel would be an amazing fit on that offense because I really do legit think this is true. He could be a possession receiver in the NFL. He's 5'11". He's about 205. He has that dual threat ability where he's kind of a Brandon. He's before Brandon Ayuk, but he's I don't want to say a better version of Percy Harvin, but he's a more at least durable version of Percy Harvin. You saw in Carolina they realized how to utilize him, and he went off at least for fantasy wise at the end of the season. He's only 24 years old, going into his 4th NFL season. 24 in 4 years. He's a smaller Allen Robinson in that aspect. Or you could sign one of the old guys like AJ Green or Larry Fitzgerald. But they need a possession receiver there in Chicago. I don't agree with that either, Jason, but I think that's something. So offensive line, we'll go to that. A terrible problem for Chicago this last year, even though David Montgomery had a pretty good season. Jermaine Ifedi, 35th out of 80 tackles. Charles Leno was 28th out of 79. Cody Whitehair, the center, was the only bright spot. He was pretty dang good. I think he was 7th out of center.
You just mentioned Charles Leno. What do we say if we let go of him?
Charles Leno, I believe he might actually be a free agent. Let me take a look here.
So where are we sitting at right now as far as how much money we saved?
I'd say 6.2 mil if you let him go. 6.2 mil.
Okay, so let's just rack it up for a minute here. Eric says he's going to let go of did I hear you right? You said Jimmy Graham.
Yes.
You're going to let go of Jimmy Graham.
Bobby
You're going
Massey.
to let go of Bobby Massey. So that's 15 mil right there. We traded Akeem Hicks away. That's $25 million now.
Yes.
Charles Leno, we're going to get rid of him. That's $31 million. Buster Screen. What did we say if we get rid of Buster Screen?
Screeny?
Yeah, fuck him.
Strine?
Yeah, he sucks. He's a fucking bum.
Dead money. Hold on a second, bro. So it looks like he got cut already or something, but
Okay.
Over here it says dead money 3.3 mil.
Yeah.
So anyways,
they already got rid of him. He was that trash.
He's horrible.
So,
So the guy I was mentioning earlier, Jason, I'm glad I brought this back up, was Rick Wagner, who played for the Packers last year.
Yeah.
He was he looks like to be about a 2-year, $4.5 million projected deal. I think something like that would be phenomenal as just a stopgap for that offensive line there. He would be an improvement over every tackle that was there as well. So, and quarterbacks, man,
you got to be able to fix it. You're not going to be able to fix it.
Yeah, no, you're not going to. But I think someone like – these are my two names here. And y'all can tell me what you think about these. I'll actually get y'all's opinion. Cam Newton, Andy Dalton. What do y'all think?
Give me Cam.
Mm-hmm.
Cam,
love it. I kind of love it.
Cam for both of y'all.
Yeah,
give me Cam. I kind of love both those. What I'm saying, I kind of love Andy Dalton as well. One I'll ask. Why not Tyrod Taylor?
He's a punctured lung. No, I'm just playing. No, man, I could see that. I just don't know how. So Matt Nagy's offense it's not a Bruce Arians offense, right? So they're not asking your quarterback to freaking launch the ball down the field. You're asking for an accurate, almost like a West Coast offense, right? So I think Tyrod would be okay in that. I just
let's not forget this is a guy who one time, was the no turnover king. I mean, this was a guy who was accurate with the ball. He didn't make mistakes. You're not going to fix your problem this year. If you invite Cam Newton in, you're also inviting the circus. I love Cam, but Tyrod, whatever, dude doesn't get a chance, man. He's just got the worst luck I've ever seen. But you got to look at it and say, and I have another dream lockup for him as well, but we'll get to that on another episode. But I kind of love, and if I'm not mistaken, you can get him for $5.5 million and still have
a cheap contract.
$27 million to spend and still get the guard we want. And then we've got, how much was the guard?
He was a tackle, but he was only 4.5.
So we've spent. So we still have. We have 31. So we almost spent 10 mil. So we got 22 million.
I mean, that's a Will Fuller. That's a Will Fuller you could grab.
There you go. There you go. But we talked about. Yeah, I mean, you might even be able to pay Allen Robinson if you make that happen.
Yeah, I just don't think Allen Robinson's coming back.
I know.
You know what I mean? I just don't think he's. That's just not going to be on the. He'll be asking way too much money.
But see, I wouldn't do that. Because I think you have another problem. Danny Trevathan is old, and Robert Quinn is badass. I mean, Roquan Smith is badass, but he's by himself.
He's one person on that linebacking core.
Yeah, and then I just accidentally said Robert Quinn. I know you want to talk about him.
I will. You're right. I do. I was going to say the edge defenders, right? So they're old, man. Khalil Mack is 30. Robert Quinn's 31. If it's me in the first round, and I think the Bears have a lot of needs to get to, but I think if I'm in the first round, I think they're picking 20 something. Anyways, doesn't matter. So there's a dude named Jason Owe who might be the most crazy athletic freak in this draft. He's going to be a project. However, I think he's 21, something like that. So he's a young guy from Penn State. So with Micah Parsons, he's an outside linebacker, so he's more accustomed to that 3-4 type thing. But anywho, I'm looking at edge in this draft if I'm Chicago, at least in the first round. Now, in the second round, we could absolutely, because I think this is a pretty deep and decent linebacker class as well. I'm looking at maybe linebacker. And I think, Jason, you had a good point, man. Let's address the offense through free agency, and let's address that defense, because I still think it's a good defense.
Mhm.
But I think that we can really get some guys, like the next guys up in the draft. So I think that's a great plan, honestly.
Yeah. You get the young talent, and then your locker room is still right. So
Yes.
they come in, and you've got a good culture. But yeah, we got to sign somebody at wide receiver. If we get, let's just take Tyrod off. That was mine. This one's yours. You said Cam or Andy Dalton. Which one are we going with?
For me, I'm going Andy Dalton in that.
I'm thinking Andy.
I do think Andy, man. I think that he gets the ball out enough. He gets the ball out fast enough behind a decent offensive line. Dallas's offensive line this last year was just riddled with injuries. Like literally, all 5 of our starters went down. So it was just rough. But no, I think Andy Dalton is the player there. I think he's. I mean, what did we say? I remember that stat I told y'all about Cam Newton. 801 more passing yards than Dak Prescott, although playing 10 more games.
Yeah.
He's not the key. However, I would say that the Chicago, even losing Allen Robinson, has better receivers to throw the ball to than New England does. But
they lost Anthony Miller as well. Is that right, Anthony Miller?
No, I think he's back.
I don't know that he's back. You might want to double check that.
Let me double check it. Yeah.
And he was a great receiver who just didn't get the
I
ball.
don't think so, man. I think it's his. I think it's going into the last year of his contract.
I hope you're right for their sake.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, that would be terrible, wouldn't it? Sporttrack.com. That's who I like to use. Also, can we address Tran's question right there? What do y'all think about or his statement there? Does that make? I mean, that makes sense to me. That's where Sue wants.
I think he would just stay in Tampa Bay if he was going to try to win a ring.
Gotcha. So Tran just hit us up with that. Thank you so much, dude. Tran's going to be our researcher for this pod. So Anthony Miller signed through this, I guess 2021. He's not signed past that. So yeah, man. I mean, you can definitely look at receiver later in the draft as well. I think you kind of have to. Honest to God, I think the draft is going to be such a fun thing this year because of this crazy situation we have with cap space. So you're going to see some of these teams, and I'm going to pull it up here. Some of these teams with incredible, crazy amounts of cap space, they're going to pull off some. So the Jaguars, you get the Jaguars, the Jets, the Patriots, the Colts, the Broncos, the football team, the Bengals. They have a lot of cap space. So they're going to be making moves, man. They're going to be making moves. And you think about the Jaguars are going to have a rookie quarterback who's probably Trevor Lawrence under a rookie deal, who they can literally get Chris Godwin. They can get 2 or 3 of the top free agents at every single position if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And the one that I want to talk about just real quick before we get off here is the Colts. They still have all this cap space despite signing or trading for Carson Wentz.
I know. We hate it. Don't like
I hate it. Carson Wentz is dead to me.
I just wanted to get y'all's reaction.
We're not fans.
No, it's so real quick. I just want to bring this up because you mentioned him at the very end. Again, I didn't know a lot about this, so I didn't want to step on y'all's toes. But one of the names that was floating around was Godwin, man, talking about some of these wide receiver like situations, like maybe with the Bears. I mean, if hypothetically we were to free up all that money there, why not try to grab Godwin?
It's not a
try. I'm sure that conversations will be had. But Mike Evans is saying he's willing to take a cut to keep Chris around. So it just depends on how serious he is about that. If Mike Evans is like, "Nah, I want my guy here. I want to go for another one." Brady's all about it.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. He's already tweeted going for 8.
Yeah.
I need Godwin to go ahead and just move on out because I got Mike Evans now, and I need him to be number 1. So Godwin can go ahead and go do his thing.
So there we go. We just fixed all 4 teams in the NFC North. We didn't really fix them.
Yeah,
we didn't fix anything. But you know what? At least, hopefully, everyone has at least a more decent understanding of the cap space and like how crazy it's going to be this year. And we're going to do this moving forward as far as every single division in the NFL We're going to hit it all up. Hopefully, we can get there before free agency. We'll see what happens. A real quick one, Cam. You ready for it?
Yep. Oh, okay.
You know what I want you to tell?
Okay.
Macho Man. The Macho Man. Yeah.
All right. So, Cam's time to shine. So, me and Eric played. I think we mentioned it here before. We played in a band called Shakespeare in Okinawa. Look it up if you'd like. We were hardcore metal band. Anyway, we had got done playing a concert one night, and of course, every show that we played came with us getting shit faced while we played. If you look up the videos, I'm taking shots while I'm on stage. People were buying me shots. It's wild. Hit a lot of bad notes on the guitar because of it. But we finished this show, and we went to a bar that was like right up the hill from our apartment, mine and Eric's apartment at the time. It was called Peaches, and it was a nice little low-key dive bar for Japan. It was really, really awesome. We were regulars there, so we got the hookups on drinks. Well, we went there, and there wasn't a lot of people. There wasn't too many people there, but there was enough to cause a scene, right? Which I did. Now, I have this problem from our last story with me getting fucked up and wanting to make just a damn scene when I was young. We were playing pool in this little side room, and it was me, Eric, and a few of our buddies. And, oh, man, I had gotten to the point. Oh, so I had pregame by drinking a whole bottle of wine. Before I got there. I forgot to mention that. I had slammed a whole bottle of red wine, right? And so I'm trashed. Eric's been buying me drinks because he always owes me $40. And
this is not true.
We're in the middle of playing pool, and I forgot who it was, but some random person just walked into the.
No, you didn't. It was some random person, straight up. It was an American though. She was American. Yeah.
Somebody we had never talked to before in our lives. But she proceeds to walk in because she hears a bunch of Americans. So I'm assuming her and her friends were like, hey, we'll go play some pool too. Well, without missing a beat, I jump up on a fucking stool. I'll give her one of these, and I yell real loud. This whole bar can hear me. It's almost like in a movie scene where the music stops. I was like, hey, you know who Macho Man Randy Savage is? And she just goes, what? And I proceeded to jump off of this stool onto the pool table in the middle of a game being played. Balls explode, flying everywhere. I hit the table. It's like a Family Guy fall. The pow, like just. And so I proceeded to like almost knock myself out because I hit my head on the damn pool table and shit, and was just fucking done, just completely out. I had to get carried back and puked all over everything. It was a bad night.
The great part is, so if y'all don't know what Macho Man Randy Savage's finishing move was, it was an elbow drop. So Cam neglected to mention that. He literally elbow dropped the 8-ball or whatever it was, and this dude was just done for the rest of the night. So we have a lot more stories like that that are a little more salacious or or whatever you want to call them. But yeah,
but no.
Jason,
so somebody else is doing the C story next time because this is 2 weeks, 2 times in a row that I just look like a dipshit.
I could tell one. Jason,
ours was scary.
You got anything for us?
Oh, the kneel down. I didn't prepare anything for the kneel down.
That's fine. Are you feeling passionate about anything or what? Any players out there?
We kind of touched on what I wanted to, where my passion was in football this week at the beginning with JJ Watt. I just, if I had to say anything to anybody, look, don't judge JJ Watt by taking, a huge contract. The guy got out there. He saw free agency for the first time. He's like, holy shit, this is what this is? Okay. And he got into a bidding war. It was like he was literally a kid in a candy shop. Every team was a different flavor. And the guy, unfortunately, I didn't see any evidence of him intentionally, like, racking up his worth. Like, I think the guy legitimately wanted to see what was out there and found out the whole league was out there. And I think that anybody, and you're going to hear it all week long. JJ Watt took the money. You're going to hear it from people all week long because that's how people are. And they're going to find a way, to put a stain on his character for doing so. But, bottom line, the kneel down. JJ Watt went to the best team he could go to for the best amount of money he could get.
Yep.
Period.
Sad but
You're
true.
a hater if you say otherwise.
No, at the end of the day, that's what it's about, man. These guys are professionals, and J.J. Watt might be the most consummate professional of any football player. You got him, Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, who these guys? Oh my God, Terrell Suggs used to be that guy back in the day as well. I think he's retired since, but man, you talk about great professional players. But hey, that's the end of the pod for us. Thank y'all so much for listening and watching and all that good stuff. Hopefully we gave you a little bit of insight. And that's it, man. Next week we're going to do the AFC North, I believe. We're going to talk about them Bengals, them Steelers, and the other teams up there, Browns and the Ravens.
Shout out
I'm
to
going to leave Cam or Jason for the Ravens for sure. I'm going to make y'all talk about it.
I hate you. You're a son of a bitch. I don't like it.
I know.
Shout out to Jason real quick for coming up with this whole concept and doing all this, because it was definitely one of those. It's a hill for me, but I'm really glad we're doing it. And like I said, for somebody like me, it's learning, and for anybody out there, I think it's really good to know these things. So Jason, big props to you.
No problem.
Absolutely, and hopefully we made it in like layman's terms for y'all as well. Like we are not cap experts.
No.
We're not draft experts. We're not free agency experts, but we enjoy the NFL, which I hope that's kind of shined through with all of our podcasts. But yeah, man, that's it from us. Cam, Jason, love y'all, sons of bitches.
Love you. Love you guys.
Hey, we'll see y'all next week, man. Later.
Bye, everybody.